Welcome to the Quick Stop Formula One podcast. My name is Nyasha and you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us and we appreciate that. Joining me, as always, is co-founder and co-host Thandie. How are you doing? How's it going?
It's a midweek Thursday, Friday tomorrow. I'm good.
You feeling good?
Yeah, of course. You
Wonderful.
feeling good?
I'm feeling wonderful. As people might see on the YouTube, I'm in a different place. I'm in my kitchen. I can't bother to explain why, but this is where I am.
Yeah.
But speaking of which, if you're following us on YouTube, make sure you're subscribing, following us on Spotify, all of that. Today, we've got a very special guest with us from... We had one of my favorite podcasts last week on the pre-show, and now we've got my
second favorite.
Yeah, I've got two favorite podcasts, and this is one of them. We've got Mahad from Pitstop Fracas.
Woo!
How are you doing? Let me give you the round of applause.
I am honoured. Thank you, guys. You're one of our favourite podcasts also.
We love you guys.
It's a love fest, you know?
Yeah.
And finally we're collabing. This is like Supreme and Nike. This is like Off-White and Nike collab. We're only bringing hits.
Yeah. I like this. You guys are quite funny on the timeline as well. You guys are the only people I actually interact with on the timeline and actually kind of think, okay, these guys are cool. Some people,
there's no comedy in F1 for some reason on F1 Twitter.
Yeah. Exactly.
Nobody's funny. Everybody's serious and emotional.
Though. Yeah,
it is very I found because we had like a couple of tweets do like numbers this week, and like people are so serious, like you'll be saying something about Hamilton or whatever, and you can't do it without someone flying into your mentions like, well, I think you'll find that this
I'm like, stay calm. This is my life. I just told them stay calm. I can say something about Latifi. There'll be a random Twitter account with a helmet. Don't even know who this person is. Just saying, actually, he did this. I'm not interested. Let me say what I'm going to say.
Since 2021, January 2021, actually, I don't want to hear it.
But yeah, thanks guys for having me on. I'm very excited to speak about Formula One with you.
I was also saying to Nyasha, you guys are also the podcast that I liked because you guys have a Scouser on there.
Oh, my brother Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm from the Wirral.
You're from the Wirral?
Yeah, which is like outside of Wirral for those who don't know. Outside of Liverpool anyway.
Okay. So we are representing people of colour from Liverpool.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go.
Listen, this isn't a London-based scene, you know what I mean?
No. Tell
them. We've got our famous guy, brother Kunle. He's from in Canada.
Yeah.
You know, so we've got a lot of people. For people that don't know, Pitstop Fracas, follow us. We drop every Monday. We've got a lot of people. We're like the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah.
Of the podcast game.
Yeah, that is really accurate. If you which member of the Wu-Tang Clan are you then?
Only one right answer.
I might be old dirty bastard, maybe.
Yeah.
ODB.
ODB.
I always say some wild shit.
I love it.
Me and Nyasha Watch the Throne.
Yeah.
Love it. Back to back.
Are you dumb?
Kings and queens in the making. We're here.
Are you
100%? I'm definitely Kanye because I'm for Ducky.
I'm so glad he said that.
I wanted to say I'm home.
We'd have fought.
I'll take it. But anyway, look. As much as I like to get into hip hop, I don't want to. There's some people listening now, like, what are these guys talking about? But we are here to talk Formula One, and we are here to talk. The preview of the Styrian Grand Prix, obviously at the Red Bull Racing Ring. Very interesting race circuit. Good for overtaking if there's not a DRS train, but always plenty of action. I guess before we get into our topics, where does Austria rank? I guess in your guys, Matt, for you, like where does Austria rank for you in terms of circuits?
I'll say it's a top 10 track. Just because of how fast it is. Just because lack of corners, there's always something going on that track. And when it rains, it's absolute chaos as well. that's the reason why. I think it's more due to the races than the track itself. It's just something always happens.
Yeah, for sure. It's always action packed. Always something to look forward to. Collisions. We had Hamilton and Albon last year. We had Leclerc going into the back of Vettel, the fraud that he is. So
You got that, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm just saying. But Thandie,
hello.
Do you are you looking forward to this weekend?
I am, because I asked my brother. I said, "Is this one fun?" And he was like, "Yeah." Is it better than France? And he said, "Yeah, because it's really fast." And I said, "Cool." So here we are.
There you go. He's got the look, and we've had your brothers on the show. They are knowledgeable, so if they say it's going to be fun, it is going to be fun. So look, we are coming into this off the back of a Red Bull victory at the French Grand Prix at Paul Ricard. If you want to listen to our show, go back and listen to it. I'm going to put a link in here in the YouTube and in the Spotify. You can go back into the previous episode, but a lot of talk coming out of that after, I guess, Mercedes. Some people are saying they dropped the ball strategy-wise at that race. That after three races in a row without a victory, Mercedes are under pressure somewhat. Coming into the Austrian Grand Prix, Mahad, do you think that these guys, Mercedes, are really under pressure to get a result? Either, if not today, at least, out of, the last race of the triple header next week, at the same track.
Well, it's not been a good season to their standards, Mercedes. Usually they're off and away, especially in constructors. By this point, what we're like the 8th race now. I think they are under pressure because it's really hard to maintain excellence in sport. If you've won 7 in a row, complacency happens. We can't deny that complacency doesn't happen. Yeah. And I think with this year, the Mercedes, the regulations are hampering them in terms of the car. So now they're even more dependent on Hamilton. They're even more dependent on Bottas, and they're more dependent on their strategy. By far and away, the past couple of years, their car was just elite. So they didn't really need to rely on strategy. They could just say, okay, Hamilton, bring it home, or Bottas, bring it home, and so on and so on. James and all those people, the strategy people, they weren't really needed like that as much as they're needed now. And one thing I'll say about most of the teams in Formula One, their strategy is on point, unless it's Ferrari. They're not on point. But if we're talking about your Red Bulls, we're talking about your McLarens, we're talking about even Aston Martins, they've got the strategy on point because they have to squeeze every single thing out of the race every week. And with Mercedes, I think it's the successes over the last couple of years. It hasn't really been dependent on strategy.
Yeah, and definitely not on a race basis like it has been this year. There's the odd time, but definitely not had to battle another team the way they have. I mean, look, there was the Ferrari years. I always say the Ferrari years were different in that there were Ferrari tracks and there were Mercedes tracks, and either one of those cars were kind of running away at that track, and the other car was second. It wasn't really as close as we've got it today. Thandie, do you think Mercedes are under pressure? And I guess, if you had to give Mercedes the team as a whole, including the drivers, including strategy, pit stops, all of that, out of 10, what would you give them so far this season?
10 being excellent.
10 being excellent, and 1 obviously being Haas.
For this entire season?
The season so far.
7.5? 6.5?
Okay, that's quite generous. So
that's generous. I'm not gonna lie.
Is it? Do you think that's generous? I thought I was being mean. 6.5?
7.5 is 75%.
Is it?
Yeah.
You're passing any exam with that.
That's a first.
That's fair. No, I don't think they deserve a first. I think that's a C, but I gave you a C minus.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Let's do it by grades. Yeah, C minus.
Yeah, okay. A C minus.
C minus. Okay, cool. So, what Why? Why are you giving them a C minus?
I think what's letting them down certainly isn't Lewis.
Oh,
I
no.
think what's letting them down is team spirit, first of all. Team spirit, lack thereof, yeah?
Okay.
I think nobody's communicating well enough, as we saw last week. If Bottas told you something, you obviously didn't listen to him. Bottas and Hamilton at the same time, I don't think those two even sit down for dinner together. And I also think the pitting issue is letting them down massively. So, those are my factors.
No, I'd probably be the same. Mad, do you agree? C minus from Mercedes so far?
I'll say C minus. I don't want to be too harsh. Guess what? They're still second in constructors.
Yeah.
It's a 37-point gap at the moment, and you have to kind of rate what Red Bull have been doing. So they're exceeding expectations. So in relation to that, I'd say a C minus. There are little things letting them down. There has been like bad luck as well. With the whole Monaco thing with the wheel. I don't know if that's their fault or not, the pit stop crew, but I think the pit stop crew is a problem. We need to highlight that because since Sakir, they've been stinking out the joint. I don't know what's been going on.
Stinks.
Like I have no idea. They used to be like excellence.
Yeah.
And now they're not even. They're struggling to get to a 2-second pit stop.
They remind me of Ferrari back in the day. Not even back in the day. Ferrari quite recently. Pit stops weren't great. Strategy wasn't great. You could kind of over the course of the season they would always have like a few clangers. Whereas at the moment, Mercedes, Sakir, I think Bahrain, I think Bottas had another issue in the first race of the season, Monaco, and then just like do you believe, guys, like both of you, I guess, do you believe that the fact that they are now in, like you say, they have had Red Bull catch up to them, and they've had, they are under this. I always feel like the word pressure, or the media love to say people make mistakes because of pressure, but do you genuinely believe that because they are in a real title fight now, that cracks are beginning to show within that team across the board, in the back end?
I definitely think this weekend it's crack the whip on everyone. I think there was a strong email sent out.
Okay.
I do.
CC all.
CC all,
CC all.
There was a strong email sent out, and this weekend it's serious business, you guys. It's serious business.
Personally,
go on.
I think, look, Mercedes, if we look at since 2014, they've dominated this track. They need to dominate this track again. This is how it should be. When we're talking about, you hear Horner last week, if we win in Paul Ricard, we can win anywhere. You can't give this man this type of ego, man. Because what they're going to do, they're just going to run with it.
Yeah.
And once they're in your head, you're finished.
Yeah.
So this is what, it is a psychological game. Mercedes, a lot of them, I tweeted this off the account. A lot of them have got LinkedIn DMs saying, yo, come to Red Bull. A lot of them engineers,
LinkedIn,
they're like, yo, we'll give you double your salary, come through. A lot of that's going on. And it's a murky world in F1, especially behind the scenes. So, and one thing I did want to point out as well is Mercedes have to kind of juggle this as well, because they need to think about 2022.
Yeah.
Because you have to be thinking about that car and dominating the next era as well. You can't put all your chips into this one. They've already said they're not going to develop the car anymore. If the car has reached its ceiling and Red Bull's just thrown everything at it, they might sacrifice constructors and say, okay, we're just going to try to give Lewis 8. But if that happens, it's a really, really difficult decision that Toto and all these people have to make. And balancing, do we sacrifice one constructors so we can win another 4 maybe in the next couple of years? These are the type of questions that are going on behind the scenes at Mercedes at the moment. Red Bull just want one. They don't care. I don't. I do not know how Helmut Marko and Christian Horner have kept their job, because their man ain't done nothing since Vettel days.
Shoot it!
Yeah,
Gunshot!
yeah.
So these are holding their job on technicalities. If they win that, then they can hold their job for another 4 or 5 years. They don't need to win nothing.
Yeah.
So for them, it's all about constructors. Mercedes got to make a choice. Mercedes got to make a choice between are we going to do this constructors thing, or are we going to try to win Lewis number 8? That's the kind of choices they've got to make now. Because if they've got any tokens left or anything like that, they're going to have to put it on Lewis's car.
Yeah, 100%.
As I said, there's a strongly worded email that went out, and I hope it CC'd every single person because this is serious business now.
Even the guy that makes coffee, he needs to sort it out.
Yeah.
Even the coffee guy, he's been told, listen.
Get them beans cooking. I want it on arrival.
It best be on arrival, my guy.
Milk frothed.
Yeah.
Look, hey, Mercedes. It's weird. It's just weird watching them like this. You know?
It'll be an interesting episode of Drive to Survive, though.
They're recording with him this weekend, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Are they actually?
I remember a certain Germany 2019 laid the hosing up. They got moved to, man.
Germany. What was the other one that they were recording? Even last season.
I forgot where they were recording last season.
It was Russia.
Yeah, with Bottas.
It was
Lewis Hamilton did the start from the wrong part of the pit lane and they were recording. That's when
strategy again. How are you advising him wrong information? This is nonsense. These people are lax.
Yeah, no.
You know when you've got like a Fortune 500 company and they're just some CEOs just chilling, just making poor decisions. This is what's going on right now. They're happy of wealth and success.
You know what? Because they've had it too easy. They've had no competition. Yeah, and look, and fair play. That's one thing that people do drum into. All that. Anyone who's a Hamilton fan, anyone who's a Mercedes fan, it's the accusation. People level that at you all the time. Like, your team has not had any reasonable competition for 7 years. Obviously, Ferrari there, but that petered out after the halfway point at each point. This is closer than it's ever been between teams since 2012, maybe. It's they need to buckle up and they need to really, like you say, I think Toto's made the decision that they are going to put everything into next year. I think what gives me hope is that it still feels like they're figuring out how to set the car up. It's not as if they're going in every weekend and Lewis is saying, "Oh, you know what? I got the most as I could out of that. That was most." They're never happy with the setup up until the last lap of Q3. They're never happy. So, I think what gives me hope in that respect is that if they figure out how to set up this car, especially on tyre warm up, then they'll be okay. But if they don't, and they're not developing, it could be a very long season. And if they win the next 2 races, then it's hard to look past Verstappen and Red Bull for the title.
Toto said it so comfortably as well, really confidently, we aren't developing the car, and we were all like, "Yay! Look at us!" That's embarrassing.
I do remember Ted's reaction when he said that. He was aghast. I need to get a video because I remember watching. Oh well, Ted is absolutely. He's never heard anything like this in his life. And to be fair, look,
it's a bold statement.
It is. It was fighting words, and we were all like, "Yeah, look at us!" But look now.
And now we're thinking about it. Maybe it's an admission of defeat. It's like, he said it from early, so it don't look that bad.
It could be.
I don't know. To be fair, Toto, I trust him to make the right decisions at the end of the day.
Honestly, I would trust Toto with my life savings. I'm not gonna lie. That man just seems intelligent.
I checked his net worth.
Yeah, no.
Child. We all have child.
Him
and Susie.
Start Toto racing or whatever.
Trust. Yeah. Him and Susie Wolff goals.
Yeah, for sure. Also, big up Susie on her win last week. She won. I can't remember what category she is racing in, but whatever category she's racing in, she won. So that is incredible. Well done, Susie.
Amazing.
Absolute Don. She is. Quickly on the subject of Mercedes and Red Bull. So this is literally just dropped now, just before we went to record. So excuse us if we're not telling you this with the complete knowledge that we maybe could. But essentially the FIA are going to force F1 teams to slow down their pit stops. FIA will introduce new rules forcing F1 teams to slow down their rapid 2-second tyre changes. And essentially, they're going to make it impossible to do sub 2-second pit stops. They say it's because they want to keep the wheels on the cars and make sure no one's going out with 3 wheels on. Some people are saying that this is more evidence, along with the rear wing, flexi wing debate of Mercedes wielding their influence to slow down Red Bull. Guys, what are your thoughts?
I wonder who went crying to the FIA.
Do you reckon?
Help me, FIA.
The pit stops are too fast.
The pit stops are too much.
So do you think that behind the scenes Mercedes, because it's been, I think everyone's kind of obviously noticed, and obviously everyone's noticed that Red Bull obviously have the top five pit stops of the year in terms of times. I think 3 are under 2 seconds. Do you think that they've gone, you know what, we can't jump them in the pits, this is something that needs to be cracked down on? Or do you just think that the FIA are genuinely looking out for safety, man?
I don't remember the last time a wheel came off, somebody went out the pits without a wheel. So it's not safety, clearly. You have to remember, this is Formula One. This is the home of people snitching on each other. Yeah?
Yeah.
Everybody's writing. Everybody's on the stand like, yo, look at my man's car. Yo, look at this person's car. You saw on Drive to Survive when they found out about Ferrari. About all of them ganged up. Yo, look. They cheated. They got an illegal engine. So this is how it is. And FIA just bow to it all the time. What do you call it? Sassy Massey? Sassy Massey. They're all belling his line. He's decided, I don't know if I'm going to answer this one today. I don't think it's that significant, these pit stops.
Nah.
For you to be doing that. You just spoke about the rear flexi wings. That made no difference whatsoever. So there was a huge build up about it saying, oh, look at the rear flexi wings. It's giving them an advantage on the straights. That didn't matter because they won in Ricard anyway when it was banned. Ferrari was using them as well, and they admitted to using the rear flexi wings, but they went backwards. So I don't know what happened there.
Ferrari. Bro.
Ferrari, we won't speak on Ferrari. Ferrari is rest in peace, man. As you know, I don't like Ferrari.
No. Welcome.
Welcome. I said welcome.
Welcome to the gang. So yeah, I don't think the milliseconds that they're going to hold up these pit stops is going to change anything. If they changed it like, oh, we're going to make it mandatory 2 stops and stuff like that, that will make a significant change to the race and how everything happens. But to put it under the guise of, oh yeah, we're going to do it because of safety, that's just hogwash. It's bullshit.
Yeah. The ones that stick out for me are maybe Grosjean at Haas, I think. In terms of the last time I can remember someone's wheel not being on. I feel like it's Haas. I know Haas did it in Australia 2018 or 19, sorry, and then I think it happened again 2020. But other than that, like I say, it's not like people's wheels are not going on like on a regular basis. So
another point I just thought about: a lot of teams don't even do fast pit stops. So what's the point?
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
it does feel. But look, the FIA, when they see something where someone has a distinct advantage, I do feel as if they move to remove it. So Mercedes and the party mode in qualifying, they got rid of it. They said from now on, halfway through the season, they said no more party modes. The engine mode you have in qualifying, you have to run through the whole race. They got rid of. I think there's something to do with suspensions as well, trick suspension. So, in defense of Mercedes, I don't know whether it's a specifically Mercedes thing going to the FIA, but the FIA, I don't know. I think this is absolutely pointless. I don't know why they've done it. I like to say,
yeah,
100%.
It's only Red Bull doing sub 2 second pit stops. It feels like I feel like F1 is about innovation. F1 is about pushing the limits, and for you to essentially punish a team who have mastered the art of putting 4 wheels on and off in under 2 seconds, that's incredible.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
It doesn't make sense.
I saw some people saying, "Oh, it's finally going to stop this special machine that Red Bull's using to do pit stops." I'm like, who's invested in a machine to save 0.0 second or whatever? It's absolute nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. It doesn't matter. And Red Bull only have one sub 2 second pit stop in them every race, because it's either going to go to Perez or it's going to go to Max. They've only got one in them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, even when they were pushing on for the undercut last week, it was a 2.3 second pit stop. So it's not as if like they could turn it on and off when they want. Like when they do it, they have to be absolutely perfect. And I just find it crazy. But I guess moving on. From pit stops, because how much
it's fitting.
I'm sweating right now. He's getting all kinds of heated.
But I'm just like, don't slow down innovation.
They love to do it. When someone finds something that works, that gives them an advantage. Can't do that.
Surely that's cheating. Yeah. Surely that's wrong.
Like slapping them. No.
Who asked you to be a good engineer? Don't do that.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? FIA are going to be the FIA. I'm looking forward to more sassy massy on FIA radio this weekend, because these guys, they call him in. And the thing is, I've said it myself, if I had 10 men belling my line every 2 minutes, like, Michael, the curbs are too high on turn 4, it's causing too much damage, I maybe would give them some sass back, like, brother, like, just drive your car somewhere else. Don't drive over the curves. I would maybe do that, but I understand why they
don't give Nyasha power in FIA, boy. It's gonna be really mad.
I'm already drunk off the power I've got from this podcast.
Trust.
People on Twitter getting blocked. I'm like, what? Look,
today's tweet was, "I don't like your tone. I think I'm gonna block you."
No, be gone.
Be gone. Trust.
I'm not gonna deal with it, guys. I love healthy debate. I love talking about F1 with you guys. Me and Thandie both.
Yeah.
But what we're not going to stand for is racism in our comments, and also patronising. Don't patronise me.
Patronising, yeah.
I've been patronised like I have been watching F1 since '98. What's going on here?
Bro, I was watching F1 in 240p. Don't talk to me about F1, bro.
There was only 4 channels on TV.
Trust.
They don't know.
Talk your shit. Yeah.
No, for sure. When I was watching F1, the TVs had the back off. Do you understand? There was no flat screen TVs. It was the big backs TV.
I had the ghetto little TV when I was used to watch Formula 1, and then I didn't have an aerial, so I thought, let me get a coat hanger, put it in the back.
Oh,
yeah, get the signal right.
Showing their age, guys.
Yeah, listen. We are the senior men of Formula 1.
The seniors, guys.
I don't want to hear no person that's 14 years old trying to chat to me on Twitter about Formula 1. Stop.
Trust.
Stay calm.
Look, and we respect it. And it's not about how long, but just respect, man.
Respect.
Just don't talk like I don't watch Formula 1. Anyway, beyond that, and if you've got this far, make sure you're subscribing. Make sure you're following us on Spotify.
Make sure you're doing all of this.
Pitstop Fracas. These guys are entertaining as F. Big fans. So today, press conferences. Lewis is asked directly about. You need to go on song. Lewis gets asked directly about. Teammates next year, and they ask him. Obviously, they ask him about his contract. They say talks are underway. I think we already knew that anyway. But and he says he's asked about Bottas, and he's asked, do you think Bottas should remain or should? And he says, but he sees no reason to change Valtteri as his teammate. And then very cheekily they ask, can we have a word on George? To which Lewis replies, on what? And they say, on being your teammate next year. And Lewis says, what did he say? He said, well, he's not my teammate currently, so I don't think I have anything to say on that.
Media trained.
Very smart man.
Very smart man.
In that situation, I'm giving different answers. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna put it. So you guys are Hamilton, okay? I'm gonna put it to you. So I'm the guy asking questions. Imagine me, mid-40s, white, asking the same question every week. I'm an F1 reporter. So, Lewis, you're renewing your contract. That's all good. What do you think to Valtteri Bottas as your teammate next year?
Next question. Next question. That's what I'm thinking. Honestly, like, why are you asking me about next man's contract and if they're going to be my teammate? That's got nothing to do with me. Ask me about my race.
Yeah.
Ask me about my what's going to happen in the race. Ask me about specifics about these reporters have been taking the piss for time in these press conferences because they're asking the dumbest questions you'll ever see in your life. They're asking, I don't know, Gasly or something about, what's his favorite color or something random like that.
Yeah.
And asking Lewis, so what do you think about the situation in Palestine? Why are you asking him these questions? Can you ask him?
They asked him that.
No, they're asking of them types of questions, They're asking about World Peace. They're asking him about racing F1 and so on and so on. Can you ask him about racing, please?
Yeah.
One day they'll ask Lewis about racing.
Yeah.
Not the soap opera around contracts and everything like that. Do you see Verstappen as a rival and so on? We don't need these questions. We don't need to hear any of this. And Lewis is a saint because I'll be going off in these press conferences. I'll be moving like, I don't know if people know Allen Iverson, I'll be moving like him. I'll be talking absolute crud.
Talking your ish, why
are you asking me these questions? To be
fair, basketball?
Yeah, he's a basketballer.
Yeah.
So honestly, like he's a saint for answering these questions, but these are not relevant to him. You can't ask him questions about, what about George Russell's a teammate? He's not man's teammate, so you can't ask him those type of questions. The questions, if there were going to be anything, it will be about his contract rather than anything else about his teammate, because you can't really do that. If I asked you, a person that was at work, what do you think? Do you think he's gonna? Do you think this guy that's working with you is going to be working a shift next week? You can't. I can't answer that question.
No.
I'm not the gaffer. Ask Toto that question.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, this is a great point.
No, for sure. I'm just going to give you the gunshot for that. That is 100%.
Nyasha, we can't hear the sound effects.
You can't hear him?
I can't hear him.
I can. So
hopefully listeners can listen to it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the audience. Otherwise, it'd just be like applause, gunshot. No, I'm assuming they are on there. Thandie, you're Toto Wolff.
Yeah.
You're 6 foot something, muscular, handsome,
really European and handsome,
wealthy. But you've got a decision to make about your drivers for next season. Obviously, now you've got one, Lewis Hamilton. What do you do? Lewis loves Bottas. Okay, the harmony in the team is great. Bottas, as much as he might moan, as much as he might kick up a fuss, he will do his job. Okay, he might have a little tantrum, like a little teenager, they have a little tantrum. But if you tell him to do it, I'll go do it. Do you replace Bottas with George Russell, risk upsetting the balance of the team, or do you do you keep Bottas? And I guess say to George, you're gonna have to have a couple more years at on the graveyard shift.
He's suffering, man.
He is suffering, and he's really like gagging for it, isn't he?
He's absolutely. I mean, look,
he's dying for it.
If you've been starved of an F1 career for 3 years, I think anyone would be. I don't blame him. But look, Toto, you've got to think of more than George Russell.
Yeah,
you got to think of more than what the public want.
Yeah,
you got to think about what's best for the team.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm inviting everyone to dinner.
Okay.
Susie's cooking. It's gonna be in our ski house in Sweden.
Okay, nice.
Bottas is gonna be sat in front of me, and I'm gonna be like, "Do you know what? With Bottas, I'm just gonna be like, do you think you've had a great season? How do you think it's gone?
Okay.
Where you pass the power on to him."
Okay, well, Bottas is gonna go. Oh well, I think I've had a good season. Yes.
Uh-huh. Do you have any other hobbies outside of Formula One?
Oh my
god, that's outrageous.
And he's gonna be like, cycling. I'll be like, take a year out.
Tour de France.
Yeah. I just think with Bottas, I feel like he's just waiting for someone to ask him. I do. Yeah. I think we think that he's proper like into it, you guys. I think this season has proven that guy, he's trying, but I think himself, he's just like, do you know what? I've made my money. We've got to remember, Formula One drivers do not make pennies, guys. They make a lot of money. They're the most highest paid ones. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's other things in this world he can do. He can do commercials. Do a few Mercedes commercials,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would be, I don't know how strong an ambassador he would be. I don't know how many people are buying a Mercedes if Bottas is like, here's a Mercedes.
And his car.
Yeah. He's not the most charismatic, but no, it's true. Look, he has been. We forget he's been there since 2017.
He has, honestly.
It's not a short amount of time.
You man push it out like Bottas is just like everyone's pushing him out, but I honestly feel like he hasn't been in it for a while.
He's not. His heart is no longer in it.
Yeah.
Fair play.
I think he was initially he was happy with being the second driver, and then the more and more like media scrutiny, social media scrutiny came into play. He's like, oh, no, I should be winning a title. Look, I'm in the best car. I should be matching this. And it kind of got into his head that he shouldn't be achieving these things, when he should just be happy being in that Webber role, being that Barrichello role, just being that support second guy and having a good career doing that. But I think he's got in his head that he should be winning more races and beating Hamilton a lot more. And once you start doing that, I was checking on Drive to Survive. This guy's checking socials. What? This ain't it.
Oh,
this ain't it. You can't do them things. You're a Formula One driver. That ain't it. So he might just be mentally spent. If I'm Toto myself, I'm not signing him on for next season.
No.
Yeah.
You're signing
you constructors.
Yes, are you signing him on? If you were Toto.
Am I signing Bottas?
Yeah.
No. Honestly, I think I said it before. I think like you say, Thandie, it's time. The relationship has run its course now. Yeah. 5 seasons is a long time for anyone to stay in a Formula One seat. I think we're forgetting it. On average, people don't stay in Formula One seats for 5 years. For him to be in that seat, Mahad, like you're saying, constantly going up against Lewis Hamilton, it will bring you down. And then look. I watched that Drive to Survive episode right before I was on F1 Twitter, so I just thought maybe maybe he has got some like abusive or messages or whatever. Now I'm on F1 Twitter, and I'm like, wow, you're checking your socials with these man. Oh my god. No way. That is. I don't even like checking our socials.
Damn, trust.
It's a war zone out there, man. You're checking
a war zone.
Race.
Bro, no. That is the worst thing. This guy was checking it at breakfast. I'm like, that is the worst way.
He's getting trolled for breakfast,
bruv. How do you have trolls for breakfast, bruv? That is hilarious. Like, anyway, I think he needs to go. George Russell will come in, and look, we will see. Jury's out on. I think Sakir has put this impression. What I will say about Sakir, right? I've not said on this podcast last year. Instead of people seeing that performance as like, I don't know, I think some people do see it as George doing well, which is good. What I don't like about it is that it's made people think that like what Hamilton's doing is easy, or like, oh, it's all in the car.
Right?
See how he's got into Hamilton's car and he's just doing it. And I'm like, that's not how it works.
Honestly, people think you step into the car and your veins start.
Like, are you kidding me?
Watch out for that. Like, watch out for that. If Russell gets that seat, watch how the landscape changes. And the conversation changes.
I'm looking forward to people think, he's got to get used to the car. He's got to get used.
Maybe it was the car after all.
He's going to get used to the car.
We're going to see a think piece. Maybe it was the car after all. That would be the name of the title.
Gosh.
And it's going to be this. Okay, what I've been saying, because I used to think that kind of way. Oh, look how good George Russell was in this car, and so on and so on. What if Bottas is just bad? No one ever thinks about this. No one ever thinks that. He's the bench.
No one ever thinks about this. I've been saying this since the first episode.
Okay, no. You have. I agree. I 100% agree. But I'm talking about as the benchmark of the Mercedes car.
Okay.
How many drivers on the grid can go into Hamilton's seat and beat Bottas?
I think we said this on the pod before, didn't we? I think we named everyone on the grid that was better than Bottas, and we had there was at least 10 people.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't be seen as the benchmark. That shouldn't be the litmus test to say Russell's going to be amazing in Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton is the destroyer of men. He make man retire. Rosberg is doing commentary. He gets into your head. And then you think you're a good driver when you get there, and you're like, oh, rah. It's kind of like, let me give you a football analogy. It's kind of like when players go to Barcelona and they think they're good football, and then they see Messi, and then it's like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The level.
I might not be good.
Yeah. No. For sure.
For the females who don't watch football, that's kind of like being an R&B singer and coming into the game and realizing you'll never be Beyonce.
Exactly. My vocals ain't hitting like that.
It's not hitting.
They're not hitting. I hear that. Yeah. Look, we'll see. Let's do a thing, because I see you've been cooking up, Mahad. You've been cooking up. I saw it.
I was inspired by you, by the way.
Pardon?
I was inspired by you, the chef, to start cooking.
Oh, look.
I needed to cook this.
Look, sometimes you gotta let things marinate before you serve it. Like, do you know what I mean? Let that sauce just simmer. But I did, I saw I don't know if this is the one, but I did see you proclaim something last week. You said Lando over Leclerc?
Lando over Leclerc. Lando is the forgotten man of Formula One. We're talking about everybody else. Oh, they're the future. Russell, Leclerc, Verstappen. Listen, Lando's that guy, on the low.
Yeah.
People are not clocking. Like this guy, he's the only guy this season that's not finished outside the points.
Yeah, facts.
He's consistently in the top 5.
Yeah.
He is, what is he, third in the driver standing right now?
Or, he is fourth. Let me just have a look.
Fourth.
Or he's fourth.
Fourth.
Yeah, he's fourth, which is outrageous in a McLaren. When we talk about the types of cars that we got out there, I think Paul Ricard was a good example, because if you saw how far away the Red Bull and Mercedes were in that race in time, compared to the rest of the grid, there was a 54-second gap between fourth and fifth. So clearly those two cars are gone. But Norris is consistently finishing fifth. He's the best of the rest.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Do you think, without any race wins, that you can compare him to Leclerc?
Yes, because I'm one of those individuals. It's like being in a sect. It's like being in a cult. I'm one of those individuals that believe if you have an illegal engine, your wins don't count. He has 2 wins in the illegal engine. Yeah.
Okay.
That was found out. The second the FIA slapped him and said, "Yo, this engine's illegal." From America, that car was crap. From the America GP, that car was terrible.
Yeah, it was awful. Yeah,
it was light and day. So, am I really going to take any stock in those wins? I reckon Norris will win a race this year. That's my big shout for the year.
Okay,
I second that, sir. I second that.
Thandie, do you agree then? Look, we all know how you feel, but for people who don't, you're a big Norris fan. I know you're a massive Norris fan. You even were kind of rated him so much that you were earmarking him to potentially take that Mercedes seat. Which, look, I think further down the line, I've said this. I think he'll do a Hamilton, and I think he'll be the guy that they snap up.
Me too.
To go into that seat, if they don't go for Ocon, maybe. But I think it's between him and Ocon for that seat in the future when Hamilton does eventually retire. Although they might go for someone whose pants, who knows? Just mad.
This is breaking my heart. You saying this type of thing is breaking my heart. I'm a McLaren. You can't do this. You can't. I've lost Hamilton, and you're going to make me lose Norris now. This can't be it. I'm going to be left at the altar again.
You know what? Like you say, he is just so good. And this season, it's like watching. I'm trying to think the last time we've seen a step up from season to season like this. I guess. God, you're looking at potentially. I reckon like Verstappen once he stopped crashing and then just started being very consistent and started beating Ricciardo in the 2018 season, stepped up. Leclerc, I guess, when he came to Sauber in his first season, I think that he looked faster than his car. Russell in qualifying, but just Lando this season. Last season he was on par with Sainz. And Sainz was good enough to go to Ferrari. Make of that what you will. But, Lando is genuinely one of the fastest guys on the grid at the moment. I feel like one thing you could do better with... What are you saying? Sorry, Thandie.
No, I'm just telling everyone to like and subscribe.
I didn't get
all of that.
I did not get that, but thank you.
Sorry, guys.
If you're a Lando fan, I know Lando's got a lot of fans out there on Twitch. And YouTube. Listen, this is Lando love here. Pitstop, we love Lando.
I just think he's going to be one in 2 years when Hamilton does retire. I think he's going to be best placed out of everyone else on the grid because the McLaren is such a strong car. We'll see with the 2022 regulations. We'll see, but I think he's primed for it, and he deserves it. He's a great driver, absolutely great driver.
Fantastic.
One person we've not spoken about much on the podcast, which I'd like to get your opinions on, is one Fernando Alonso. So Fernando's come back. It's not gone, let's say, admittedly, I'd say how he maybe envisioned it. Ocon's had the beating of him in qualifying mostly, and in the races mostly, although I think he beat Ocon last week. Mm-hmm. What do you guys, Thandie, I guess, what do you make of Alonso's comeback? Do you think how, again, let's do the grade system. How would you grade Alonso's comeback?
I would give that a 4.
So because I said the grades. And
and then I've gone back. Okay. I am okay.
Translated into grades.
Right, yeah.
Can I just note as well? I do not have a maths GCSE. So maybe that's got something to do with it.
Look, you're brilliant in all other areas.
Childhood traumas are just coming out.
Yeah, look, I don't want to. Let's not open up that kind of word.
She excels in everything else. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, yeah.
You excel at absolutely everything else.
So
A to F.
That's a strong D. I can't lie.
Strong D.
A strong D minus.
Why? Do you
D
think
plus.
D plus.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because of, I guess, how bombastic he was before he returned?
Yeah. My whole thing is, why the hell have you come back if you're not going to come back with a bang?
Yeah.
Why have you come back to take up a seat that some other kid could have took, uncle?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, for sure. I kind of agree. Mahad,
Yeah.
do you agree?
I kind of differ because he's exceeding my expectations because my expectations were so low. Because I was like, what is this 42-year-old washed OAP doing in Formula One coming back?
Yeah.
And he's demanding, he's the third highest played driver as well, which is outrageous. Yeah, he's beaten Ocon by a couple points as well. So I have to give him a little bit of leeway. The last two races, I was actually going to say he's quite impressed with me.
Has he been making top 10?
Yeah, he's been making top 10.
Yeah, hasn't it?
Race. So he's got more points than Ocon now. Ocon's had a couple of retirements, so we kind of have to give him a bly on that. But I'd give him a C minus.
C minus.
Because he's exceeded my expectation. I thought this guy was going to be like 17th. I thought he was going to be washed.
Yeah.
Like the G-force is too much for his body, washed when he's driving. So
I think
he talks a lot of smack as well.
Yeah, but I think that's what it is. Like with Alonso, he's got too large of an ego for that to happen. He was never going to let that happen.
You see him, he's helmet swapping with everyone.
Yeah, with freaking Mazepin the other day. I saw him.
That's all, man. Can't do them things.
Can't do them things.
I'm sorry.
But on the subject of Mazepin as well, Toto's a fan. Toto likes him.
Well, is it because he shook his hand the other day?
Yeah, well, I saw that and I said, well, what one for you?
Yeah.
That's it. Toto, you're under surveillance. You're under surveillance now. I'm on to you. I'm absolutely on to you.
I did see that. I thought, but I did think, I was like, if he just blanked him, then maybe that looks worse. But I don't know.
Toto loves him.
Yeah, but I feel like with Mazepin, I don't even like what do you even say about?
I don't think he's qualified to drive in Formula One. I know he's got the license points, but I just don't think.
I've been asking you guys.
It's supposed to be here. It's kind of like me being in Formula One. I can't drive a Formula One car.
You remember that time when Obama was in his second year of office and Trump kept asking for Obama's birth certificate?
Yeah.
I would like to see... I'd like to see that man's driving license.
What's that, Monique? What's that mean? I would like to see it.
I would like
to see it. Because I don't believe he's got a legitimate license. Because I remember I watched a bit of F2 last season. This guy was moving nuts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, of all the drivers on this F2 grid, how is he they got to see? Obviously, money. And he's dad's money.
The Russian money.
Formula One's the home of nepotism. Mm-hmm. And money under the table. So, but he's taken up a seat. Same way Alonso's taken up a seat.
Yep.
Same way Raikkonen. Yeah. I put Alonso and Raikkonen in OAP corner. It's a little segment we got on Pitstop.
Yeah,
we talk about the old fellas. Slightly Vettel's in there. He's earned his way out of it, but he might go back in next to.
I don't want to talk too bad on Vettel because I did, and then he come back.
Shocked.
Yeah, and
my head was spinning after Baku.
But I was like, I couldn't believe it. I'm seeing this guy now. He's in close combat. He's not spinning. I'm like, who is this guy?
I wrote 128 bars a cappella on Vettel. And Vettel does that. I said, nah, just saying it, man.
Trust me. I did a dedicated YouTube video asking if this guy finished. And he come back from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
From the dead.
I couldn't believe it.
Couldn't believe it. Well done to Vettel. So look, C minus was it?
I give him a C minus, Alonso.
And
I don't think he's going to be here for long.
And a D plus for me.
Okay, cool. So yeah, Matt, you don't think it's he's exceeded your expectations?
He's exceeded my expectation because I thought he was going to be right at the bottom of this. I thought this guy can't be out of F1 for ages, and try to come back like this. We were having a discussion about this amongst us on Pitstop Fracas. We were thinking, when does titles expire? When does your clout from titles expire?
I don't think it ever does.
I don't think it ever does.
Honestly, I don't think because I think honestly the way obviously because like when Vettel, and this was my argument with Vettel, right, was that the things that Vettel was doing, we make memes out of every time Mazepin spins. Right?
Yeah.
He's a rookie. Vettel, from 2018 to 2020, I think I counted it, 16 spins or crashes when overtaking or trying to overtake. Like, do you know how mad that is? And it wasn't even the whole of the 2018 season. It was from Hockenheim 2018 until the end of the 2020 season. In that Ferrari, he span or crashed into someone 16 times. That's ridiculous. So I just think but people would defend him, and he's a four-time world champion. And there's always that kind of. He's managed to secure. Would you say of his form in 2020 that he deserves that Aston Martin seat?
No, that's just heritage pick.
Yeah,
he's got 4 titles. He can help us out a little bit.
Exactly.
But
honestly,
no,
it wasn't.
Nah,
Alonso,
it feels.
I can understand. Alonso had those years in the McLaren where he got the absolute most out of it. It was a dog car. In Ferrari, he dragged it nearly to a world title twice. So, I kind of understand. It did with Alonso. It never felt like he bottled the title. It just felt as if he took it as far as it could go. Whereas with Vettel, I feel like the clout from his titles is so strong.
The biggest question mark about Vettel is the season after he won. Ricciardo came in after his last title and absolutely kicked his ass.
Yeah,
and that is a big question mark. You just won 4 titles back to back. Why are you getting fisted up by Ricciardo?
I think it says more about Ricciardo as a driver, by the way, guys, because I have been telling you that man is a very good driver.
Look. Very fair. And I guess, I agree. There's that. No, I agree. There's also the fact that Vettel got batted up by Leclerc as well in the 2019 season. So, but, again, there's always excuses made for him.
He's tricking y'all. He's tricking all of y'all. He's tricking the streets. I'm trying to get people to see the light. People are onto me, man. I'm getting killed in the group chat, Pitstop Fracas group chat. And I'm saying, look, this guy ain't it. I'm like, but boy, the light we'll see soon.
Alonso is just that kid, like when you were in high school and you'd have that year 11 who just keeps standing outside the gates and gets shooed away. That's who he is. So I think he should move on. Do you know what I mean? Move on. But he's another one, as I said, he's another one who just doesn't have a hobby.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a hobby.
Get a hobby.
Yeah.
If Alpine's giving me a 20 million check, I'm coming.
Oh, no, for sure.
Retirement.
Yeah, fair
My
play.
question mark about Alonso was not if he was going to be a good driver or not. It was, he's been gone for 2 years. Is he going to be built for this? Because obviously the grid is crazy. There's a lot of good drivers there.
To be fair, and for him to be scoring points and, only marginally being... I say marginally being beaten by Ocon, that's testament to him. And, he'll only get better. I feel like I say this with every team, but we'll see 2022. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is the big lottery. Who's going to come out on top? If it's anything other than Red Bull and Mercedes on top, I'd be super surprised.
It has to be Ferrari, because Ferrari has been saying, I'm working on the car from last year. So if the car is rubbish, what have you been doing for 2 years?
Trust.
In that factory, you've been making pizza. What's going on?
Trust.
I'll put money on it now to say Ferrari won't be top 3.
That car will be mid.
Testing.
These guys are working in the garage for 2 years and their car is mid.
I'm telling you now. Testing 2022, Ferrari will not be top 3. Clip this. I'm going to clip this now.
We're going to reload it next year.
Reload
and we'll
it.
see next year, March, Bahrain, Spain, wherever the pain is, it's going to be for Ferrari because I just don't trust their technical team. I don't trust it. You're putting bug engines in the back of the car. Your car can't go 2 miles without needing a pit stop these days. Like I don't know. Like they've just been building bad cars for 3 years now.
I'll say this. If they've been working on that car for 2 years, yeah, and they have one of the biggest budgets in Formula One, and your car is mid, that is a disgrace.
It also makes you question where all the money's gone and where's it coming from.
The money?
Yeah. But it makes you question where the money's gone.
Wow. Look, you'll have to ask Mr. Bonotto, who I can only assume is about to plait his hair the way he's growing it. It's quite the contraption he's got in his head. And look, I hope that Ferrari sort it out. I don't trust him.
All the cheeky Thursday nights in Monaco. I know.
Yeah, exactly. We will see. Look, guys.
Yeah.
Before
I was going to say, Ferrari are under the spotlight for next season. We're on to.
Oh, mate. Under the most intense surveillance. Let me tell you now.
Yeah.
I'm on these, man. Ferrari fans, listen. I'm on you. I'm on you. Best believe. Let's go back to the race that is starting with practice. By the time you're listening to this, practice will have probably started. Predictions then. What do you guys think? Are we looking at further Red Bull domination, further McLaren domination of the midfield? Or do you think that we could be in for surprises? I know there's some weather warnings for the weekend as well, but what do you guys think?
I'm predicting violence from Mercedes. I hope.
You're hoping for a violent Mercedes comeback.
Yeah, I'm hoping for it, like some vim, some pulled up socks, lads. That's what I want.
It's needed.
Yeah,
it's definitely needed. Me too, man. I really hope so. Mahad.
I think it really depends on what the weather's like.
Okay.
If it's a dry race, I'm thinking Mercedes 1-2. They have to. If they don't do 1-2, they ain't going to do 1-2 for the rest of the season. I'm just letting you know that now. Because if we think about it, Rosberg won there twice, Hamilton won there twice, Bottas won there twice. This is not a track that the Mercedes struggle on. So if it's dry and it's all good conditions, unless there's some mad issues with your tyres, I'm thinking Mercedes have a good week. I'm thinking McLaren have a good weekend as well. I think Ferrari is going to have a bad weekend. I heard Bonotto say the tyre issue ain't even sorted out, so you can expect them to be all the way back there at the back. I think AlphaTauri is going to have a good weekend as well. If it rains, I have no idea. Good luck.
Yeah,
I'm winner. I swear. But that's one of those tracks. If it rains, there's going to be bare people crashing.
Yeah, no, for sure. I hope it does rain, just because I love wet races, and I think Hamilton excels in the wet. My prediction, You know what? Sorry, I'm gonna say this. If the Mercedes struggle at Red Bull Ring when it's too hot, they have heating issues, or hopefully they've sorted that. But then if it's too cool, then they have tire warm-up issues. So, you know what? I hate to say it, but I think Red Bull are going to win this weekend. And if they do, for me, I'm going to be really worried about the course of the season and Mercedes' ability to find the window with which they can set this car up. I hope I'm wrong. I'm kind of trying to jinx it.
I wish you hadn't said that. That's really added a down.
I you know what? Yeah, I've said this before. I used to
Bad
go to
vibes,
I used to go to every weekend thinking Mercedes win, comfortable Mercedes win. I genuinely I don't know if Mercedes setup is gonna be okay. I don't know if their strategy is gonna be okay. I don't know if Bottas is gonna turn up and have or if he's gonna have a mare. Do you know what I mean? It's just there's so many variables for Mercedes which I don't think are clicking at the moment. Which I want to see evidence. Like you say, Mahad, they need to be winning 1, 2. They won both races last year. They need to win. They need to win these 2 races. And if they don't, I think obviously that's Red Bull. You assume if they do win, that's Red Bull coming forward. But it's Mercedes going backwards.
Do you know what? Do you know what I love about this season? I think this is one of the first seasons where I find it extremely difficult to predict anything. Yeah. I have no idea what's going to happen in qualifying. Yeah. I have no idea what's going to happen in the race. And that's only a good sign that you don't know what's going to happen. Because usually you kind of know, it's going to be Hamilton, Verstappen, Bottas in any kind of order. In those 3, they're going to be the top 3. But now it's kind of like, now Perez is in there. You can get probably a cheeky Norris podium, which I'm kind of predicting for this weekend. You kind of don't know what's going to happen. And I think that's only a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. Thandie, anything else to add on this weekend?
Red Bull, AlphaTauri. I don't like the short little clips that you guys have been putting out, especially what you guys are doing to Yuki.
Yuki looked mad. He looked fuming.
Yuki looked mad.
Yuki was like, what are you not got me doing right now, bro?
For anyone who didn't see, Nyasha's gonna add the picture in, yeah?
Yeah.
They've got Yuki. Yuki's not European, okay? That's what I'm gonna say to you. Yuki ain't European.
This isn't his custom, you know what I'm saying?
This is not his custom. Yuki was in the back you see what they're doing to me?
Yeah, no.
That's part of the Red Bull program, boy. You gotta do every single advert. Every single PR thing. They're going to have you up on stage on Culture Clash. They're going to have you everywhere.
They'll be like, right, we're going to drop you out of a hot air balloon from space.
You're gonna do that, Yuki.
You got to do that.
It's part of the contract, mate.
It's crazy.
Poor Yuki, they had him out on a paddle boat. He couldn't paddle. It was so sad to see. But do you know what I do enjoy? I do love Ricardo and Lando's little Vegemite jokes. They eat together. I just love those boys,
I haven't
man.
even seen that. They got some cool content.
Yeah, they were eating Vegemite together.
Oh, nice.
Ricardo
Isn't that just like Australian Marmite?
Yeah, because he's Australian and he's introducing him to his culture instead of just putting man in an outfit on a boat.
No, McLaren, they're there for the content, but they do it in a different way. You know what I mean?
They are. But McLaren's content out of this world. Love
and
it.
Mercedes is just focused on doing. We do strategy really well, and then in real life they don't do strategy.
Bro,
you just debrief. How about doing the race,
bro? The debrief was good when Lewis Hamilton was bailing you out every week. Oh yeah, we'll do a debrief. Now it's just like, bro, this is like, I don't want to hear this. I don't care.
Slightly want Mercedes to not win constructors to kind of expose and say, yo, Hamilton's been carrying this,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Carrying this. If he wins the driver's title and then they lose constructors, it's there to see the evidence is there.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. And then people could stop this fastest car. Rubbish.
This fastest car is nonsense, by the way. It's absolute nonsense. Everybody's in the fastest car. What are you talking about? They're all fast cars. Except for a certain Hassan Williams,
Yeah. Dead cars. Yeah. Look, guys, let's wrap it up there. That has been one of the funniest episodes we've had so far. Thank you so much.
That was nice.
No worries, man. It's
let the guys know where they can find you and the team.
Find us on Twitter at Pitstop Fracas. You'll find the link to our Discord. That's our community where we talk everything about Formula One on there. We've got the YouTube channel as well, Touchline Media Group. We've got everything on there, all types of sports, football, basketball, boxing, and obviously us Formula One. And follow me on Twitter at @Momars_Momars.
Wicked. Thank you so much, Mo, for coming in. Really appreciate that. And really appreciate the work that you guys at Pitstop Fracas are doing. You do.
Yeah, man.
Really cool podcast, really cool platform. I think that Discord as well. I'm a lurker in a Discord.
You're a lurker. Yeah,
I'm a lurker.
That's where that's the breeding ground. That's where we started, man.
Yeah, no. Trust me. It's super cool. Thank you so much for coming on. Thandie, any final words?
No. I'm a woman of a lot of words, but today. My final words were going to be about the YUKI thing because that really hurt my soul.
I feel like
YUKI, they put a video out, they interviewed YUKI today and said, Helmut Marko's ringing me at 8 o'clock tonight. That kind of stuff scares the hell out of me.
They've got my guy on lock, bro. They have got lock and key. Wow, fair play, YUKI.
Prayers for YUKI, man.
Prayers for YUKI, man. Free my guy. Free
YUKI.
Free YUKI, man. Till he's backwards. Right, we're gonna go. Subscribe. Thandie's doing her pointy thing. That means subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Spotify. Guys, we've got like a couple reviews on the Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much. Make sure you're reviewing us on Apple Podcasts. It really helps us gain listeners on Apple Podcasts. So make sure you're doing that. And we will see you after the race on the Styrian Grand Prix. But until then, that's goodbye from all of us. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Toodles. Bye.